about these women and children, or are they just making political statements for the sake of making a statement? I think the international community needs to speak out very strongly, address both sides.
Yeah.
Say to Hamas in particular, you are not allowed to use women and children as human shields. The other group, Israel on the other side, is not using women and children. Commend them for doing that, not using women and children as human shields. But Hamas is doing that. The international community is not condemning that. It's not saying that. They only say, but this is collective punishment, their reaction, and it's not justified because they are causing more human lives. I don't deny the fact that, unfortunately, there are many honest and innocent people who lose their lives in the process. Yeah. But I think Hamas has the power to stop that from happening. Personally, I think Hamas has the power to stop this. If Hamas can be told, stop it, stop using women and children, and the international community or the UN itself can say, let us make sure that Hamas does not use women and children when they fight against Israel. Yeah. And they say, any observer want to come and see that Hamas is not doing that. Then we can say, Israel, you are wrong. Israel, stop doing that.
That's exactly that's what I wanted to come to, Rev. One would listen to you now and say, but you are equally doing exactly the same thing in your analysis by taking only one posture of condemnation, which is of condemning Hamas, but saying nothing about the international flouting of international laws and UN resolutions and what the ANC has now characterized as genocidal airstrikes.
Well, obviously, the ANC has the right to use whatever terminology they use, and there are a number of issues. Thabo, there are some issues that the international community is avoiding, that they have to do if they are serious about stopping the war. You know that there was the Arab League met in Sudan in 1967 after the 6-day war. And their outcome, it's famous. You can Google it right now. You can check Wikileaks right now. You can see it. They said no peace with Israel. That was from the Arab League in Sudan, 1967. No recognition of Israel. Thirdly, no negotiation with Israel. To negotiate a settlement takes two people or two groups of people. So if one group says no negotiation, what are you going to do? One group says no recognition. The UN accepted that, recognized Israel as a state. But now the Arab League has come up with a statement, and I also saw in the Palestinian Charter. Yeah. Hamas Charter. Same thing. Yeah. No recognition.
Let's take a break. We CDP leader, Reverend Kenneth Missioner. Before the break, Rev, you are raising the question of the rejected settlement, right? And part of the reason of the rejected settlement that is being given is that the settlement would have only recognized the importance of the Middle East to the Jews, and not recognize the importance of the Middle East to the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, and others that would need to be protected also in that space. So things like the settlements that would have been put there in Gaza, part of the agreement would need to recognize that those settlements are illegal and therefore would need to be removed. And hence the reason why the settlement would have been rejected by the Palestinians.
We are not just talking about settlements. We are talking about Israel as a state. When they say no recognition of Israel as a state, that is very serious. And the international community is aware of this, but they are saying nothing about it. I've heard on a few occasions South African Minister of International Relations say, even the president, saying that they want a peaceful two-state solution where Israel and the Palestinians will live side by side in safety and security. I mean, those are nice words to come from the mouths of the politicians. But do they mean that? I don't think so. And the reason I say I don't think so, how can you live peacefully, side by side, with someone who does not want to recognize your right to live next to them? There are people who have said within the Palestinian leadership, no Israel. There are even maps. I've gone to Israel and also moved to Bethlehem and shown the maps, Palestinian maps, that show no Israel, because the plan is to annihilate Israel, to remove it from the face of the earth, and unfortunately, that is not going to happen. Nobody will be able to do that. I say to my friends who question me when I say it's not possible, that an attempt should be made by anybody who wants to make sure that this happens, to remove God from his throne. Attempted. Anybody who can succeed, maybe they will succeed to remove Israel from the face of the earth. But the fact is, the God of Israel has said, no weapon formed against Israel shall prosper. So, anybody who dreams about Middle East without Israel, that is the dream that will never come true.
Yeah.
The best thing is to say, let's accept each other's right to exist. And then we start negotiating other things.
Yeah.
Negotiate from the platform of every one of us has the right to exist. Let's be good neighbors to each other. That's what I would propose from the HDP.
So one would say that degree of self-determination would mean you need to allow the Palestinians to have an equal degree of self-determination. Or what kind of self-determination if you are having them living in almost an enclave, a prison, open-air prison of some sort, where their movement is continually being guarded. They can't move in and out. There are certain products that are not allowed to come in, and so on and so forth. If that's the self-determination that you're talking about, it should be self-determination for everybody.
No. Thabo, I think the best thing that we need to work towards and agree about is that every person has the right to a life of peace, number one. And number two, we have to accept we have that right. But now, if you go into areas and explode petrol bombs, some people talk about the security walls as apartheid walls. But ask the question, what led to that? You had suicide bombers go to weddings and blow themselves, go into buses where their children, school children and women, blow themselves. And the people said, no. If these people, we want to live peacefully, next to are bombing and killing innocent people, we need to take some measures. So I don't believe, if there is no threat of violence, the measures that are being taken now would be taken. So let them commit themselves, both sides. Well, the other side, they don't blow people up, they don't blow themselves in buses and so on. But those who have done that, and there is record, let's check who has been doing that. And those who have been doing that should be told, guys, we want you to live peacefully side by side. Please stop exploding, bombing yourselves, causing throwing petrol bombs in public transport, because there, obviously, you are killing innocent people. If an agreement can be reached, that's not going to happen. I believe a number of these measures that have been taken will be relaxed.
But what about countries like the United States who keep sending armor to Israel? They are arming Israel, sending money, sending ammunition to Israel to attack other people.
Well, they have seen the thousands of rockets that have been shot into Israel. Now, all these records those rockets, when the world was seeing all those rockets being shot into Israel, none of the international communities stood up and said, oh, Hamas, stop that, stop that, stop that. They kept quiet until Israel responded. And I don't think that's fair. Yeah. So I think the countries that are helping Israel are saying, defend yourselves.
But these are countries with quite advanced ammunition and military strategies. I mean, if you yourself have been shown videos of how Hamas is using women and children to shield itself, they surely have far more advanced technology to even go into those caves and attack Hamas where Hamas is and not bombard schools, hospitals, ambulances, and just civilians at random.
I would agree with you that their weapons and their technology is advanced. But you know that the people who know terrorism well, they said with some of the best technology, it's very difficult to contain terrorism. A person who pretends that they are not, they are what they are not. You know, when you have an army, you can see that's a soldier, it's coming for me. That's the guy I must fight with. That's the guy I must stop. But a person who comes like a shopper, holding a basket, putting some stuff in there, waiting for the right moment to blow themselves up. I mean, the best technology in the world can't stop there. So it is unfortunate that there are people who have gone to such extreme measures. I think what we can do together, my brother Thabo, is to talk to the South African government. Take our message of peace. And this message of peace should obviously be directed to both sides, but say to Hamas, you are the ones that are using women and children. Please stop that. Because you are causing the retaliation. And some people say it is disproportional. Okay, but the fact is they are retaliating in order to protect their own people. So this measure, this thing can be contained if Hamas, I believe. The soldiers, IDF, they can easily stop once they say the leaders are arrested or are eliminated. We are not going to see rockets again being flown into Israel, targeting innocent people. We are not going to see innocent people arrested, being taken as hostages and being dragged in the streets while they are bleeding, persecuting them, raping them. All these things, if they are stopped, this war, I believe, can stop. So South Africa is in a position to can assist to stop the war. And for them to be able to do that, they should not spare Hamas, who is their friend, but they should say, you are the one. Let's find out who is the one who's using women and children as human shields. It is wrong. Using women and children as human shields, it is wrong, Thabo. You and I, let's send that message clear to men, Lady Pando. No. That thing is wrong. Tell Hamas to stop using women and children as human shields. Remove them from the places where you are shooting rockets because innocent children are going to die in the
I would rather send a message that says there needs to be peace in the Middle East on both sides at this particular point. But I appreciate
I agree with you.
Thank you very much for coming on.